related with the inputs, no? So what are the inputs that are involved here in the production? So inputs may be of labor, raw materials, and capital, and technology. So all these things which are required to produce a product called as what? Inputs. So how these are going to be changed and how this is going to bring change in the output. So that comes under this production function. So these inputs may be of land, labor. I'm going to use these short words, short letters, and capital, technology. So land, for land I am taking L, labor W, and capital K, technology T. So like this, in the coming graphs or whatever, wherever I require, I am going to use these shortcuts. Okay, so you have to think that they are so and so. So this production function, first of all, we are going to this is when we are going to say that it is an production function means, so this production is going to function with all the changes of inputs, no? So that we are going to show in an one single equation. That is, production function is equal to functioning of L, that is land, W labor, K capital, and T technology, if etc. anything is there which you are going to use as an input. So that is included here. So whenever you see that it is a production function, so you need to this may be asked in the short answer questions. What is production function? So always production function is related with the different inputs. So how they are related, all the inputs are related with the output. So that which is going to be mathematically shown in an equation, that is Pf is equal to f of L comma W comma K comma T. So this is what you are going to explain whenever you see production function. Okay. So in this production analysis, we will see. So if there is change in one input, how the output is changing. So that is called as what? Production function with one variable. One variable is here, one input. So if you bring change only in one input, how the output is changing. That relationship you are going to see in this law of variable proportions. It is also called as production function with one variable. And if you bring change in two variables, then it is called as what? Production function with two variables. That means there you are going to change two inputs. Two inputs among the listed above list is there, no? Among land, labor, capital, etc. So in that two variables you are going to change. So that with that we are going to come to a relationship that how the least cost combination is calculated. So whenever you are going to use two inputs, how can you use both the inputs to get maximum output? So that is what it is, least cost combination. Okay. So isocost, isoquants, what are all these things that we will see in the coming topic. So this may be also called as these with these names: isocost, isoquant analysis, or least cost combination. So if you see these things, you have to explain about the production function with two variables. And the next one, it is multiple variables. So either you can bring change in one input or two inputs or all the inputs. Multiple inputs means all the inputs. If you bring change in all the inputs, how the output is changing, that you are going to see in this production function with multiple variables. So this is also called as what? Loss of returns to scale. Okay. So whenever you see that law of returns to scale, loss of returns to scale, then you think that it is multiple variable production function. So production analysis, first topic we are going to discuss is production function with one variable. So this is also called as what? Law of variable proportions. Okay. So how this is going to be applied? And in this law of variable proportions, only one input we are going to bring change. That means we are going to go on increasing the input, one input. So in this example, I am going to take the only one labor that I am going to increase, and how the output is increasing or decreasing, that I am going to find out here. Okay. All these laws are created by some economists that we are learning here. We are not creating these laws. Okay. So for production function with one variable, we are going to bring change only in one input. No, so that we can show in one equation, that is PF is equal to functioning with labor. Labor here it is taken to bring change. Okay, labor is going to be increased, and how the output is changing, that relationship we are going to see. And whenever one input is changing, you have to keep the condition that all other factors will be constant. This condition should be applied. So then only the what we are going to see now, that change will take place. So for any law, there will be certain assumptions. No, for this production function with one variable also we have certain assumptions. So this first assumption is that you, this is related to a particular period of time. Only whenever you are going to apply, only a short, for a short period only this is possible. So that what is the period for which you are applying, you are going to see that it is related with the short period. In long period, if you are going to apply this law, you will not get the same result. Okay, so only short period of time you take here for applying this. That assumption you have to assume. And you have to see that technology should not be changed throughout you apply this law. And the producer is going to use the best techniques available, whatever the techniques that are available, that best among those techniques, best technique only he is going to use. And the factors of production are divisible. Factors of production means all these factors, factors of production means are capital, land, labor, everything. So we can call it as inputs or as well as a factors. So if these are going to be divisible, then only this can be applicable. If you cannot divide them, so you cannot apply this law. So that for that you are assuming that factors of production are divisible. So this already I have told you, this is applicable to only short period. Short run means short period. So in this law, what we are going to do is we are going to go on increasing one by one labors that you are going to use in producing a particular product. So for example, if any agricultural land is there, so in that land, you are going to use the inputs that you may be using more and more labor, no? So one by one, if you are going to increase, how the output is increasing, that we are going to see here. So land is fixed. 1 acre is there means 1 acre. You cannot expand that. Or technology what you are using will be the constant. Okay. So in such case, if you go on increasing the labor, how the output of that particular farming is going to be affected, that we will see. So total production we are going to find out. So what is the total production? By using this total production, we will find out what is the average of each labor. So we will divide with the number of laborers that you have used, and and you will get this average product, average product or production, okay, or output you can call it as. And you are also going to find out what is the marginal output. So marginal output means if you go on increasing the labors, what is the additional output that you are getting by increasing one more labor? Okay, that is most important, no? So if you increase one more labor, whether it is feasible or not, whether it is giving you good result or for output or not, you have to analyze. So for finding out that marginal output will be helping you. So these are the 4 things that we are going to find out. So whenever you take any example that free of cost, if you go for any function, each person is going to, if there are any ice creams there, suppose. So if it is given that you can continuously use this, you can consume the ice creams means a person who is going to consume that, what he is going to do, he will continuously consuming the ice creams, right? So how many he is going to consume? Maximum, if there is no break and if the taste is also not going to be changed. How many? How many he can consume continuously? Nearly 4 or 5. Okay. But at the time he is going to consume the first product, he will be more satisfied because still now he has not taken from a long period, long time. He got a large gap and he has taken first one means his satisfaction will be more. And again, second one, if he is going to consume, his satisfaction will be more, but it will not be equal to the first one, right? So like that, slowly, continuously, if he is going to consume the product, his satisfaction will reduce, right? From one product to the other product. So in the same manner here, if you are going to increase the labors one by one, so the output will also increase, but the margin will be reducing. So due to some reasons. What are those reasons that we will see later? So at one, when you use one laborers, so the output what you got is 5 here. So when you increase one more labor, that is 2 labors, 1 plus 1, 2 laborers, then the output is 12. We are assuming here exactly what you got, that may be different, but we assume that this, like this, the production is increasing. Okay. And when you add one more labor, the output may be 24 total output. That means 3 combinedly produced 24 products. When you use 4th person, the output may be increased to 32. And when you use 5th one, 40 production. 6th one, it is increased to 42. And when it is 7th one, see here, at this stage, the production started decreasing. So that means this is indicating that, so what it is required, the number of workers required, more than that, if you are going to employ the laborers, so then automatically there may be wastage of time among these laborers who are going to be used. So because the whole work will be distributed among these people, no? So then what automatically they will chit chat more than concentrating on the work. So too many spoils antar kada. So that may be happening here. Still, even if here production is increased, it is still if another worker is added to them. So then what happens? It may somewhat decrease the production. So this is how production will be affected here. So at the beginning, see, when there are 1 to 3 workers are there, the production has been increased. Too much it is increased. Okay. So still if you are going to increase 4, 5, 6, at this stage you can see that the production is somewhat less. Of course, total production is more, but when you find out the marginal per labor how much they are producing, that you can identify. If you add one more additional worker, how much your production is increasing, that we can understand here. So average production, to find out this average production, what is the formula that we are going to use is total production by quantity of labors. How many number of labors you are using. So for the first, when it is one labor, 5 by 1, 5 average will be there. So one person, 5 products he is producing. When you divide the total 12 divided by 2. See here, even 2 laborers are there. Previously, one single person has produced only 5 products. But when one additional person came here due to enthusiasm or due to competition, he also increased his production. Right? He is producing now 6 products instead of 5. So along with the additional worker. So both are producing six units. Uh, because here production is increased, automatically we will increase the third worker. No, so third worker, when we increase, the production has been again increased. Average production has been increased, but means each person is producing 8 products. 8 products they are producing. Okay. So when we go for the fourth one, here also they are producing, all the 4 persons are producing 8. Only 8. There is no change in the average production. See, here even 3 members are there, 8 output is there. Even 4 members are there, 8 output is there. But of course, we are not having negative production. There is no decrease in the production. So still, if you are going to produce, add fifth one. So fifth one is also giving you average of 8 production. So this is also not going to give you loss. So if you want to increase more and more production, so you can use up to five workers. So if you go for the sixth one, what it is happening here? The average of production is reducing. So that means instead of 8 products, all the people are producing only 7 products. Okay, so that means here it is production is started decreasing. Still, if you increase the one more worker, see, the production has been reduced to 5 products each. So how much difference it is? So that means production started still decreasing. Still, if you want to increase your workers, that will reduce the production. Okay, still it is going to reduce. That means it is these 3 people, additional 3 workers, if you add, so slowly the production has been reduced to 3 per person, which is less than even when you have used one single worker. Okay, so to find out that each worker how much they are on an average producing, you are going to find out the average product. Okay, and you need to find out what is the additional, that means added labor is going to produce add to the total production. Okay, so how this is going to be calculated? When there is one worker, there is no previous total production now. So 5 minus, when it is 0, 0, take it as 0. So 5 minus 0, 5 you are getting marginal product. So when you have added two workers, the total output is 12. Previously it was 5. So difference is how much? 7. So when you added this second worker, so your production has been increased by 7 output. So like that, if you take go on calculating the marginal product of each additional worker, 24 minus 12, it is increasing 12 units here. Where it is added for 32 minus 24. See here, marginal production is reduced. Of course, per worker it may be 8 units, but when you take additional worker here, production is reduced. Okay, only 8 units was added to the total production. So that means any of the worker may be doing well and the remaining are idle. So due to that reason also this may be taking place. When you go for the fifth one here, see, it is same as an at fourth worker. 8 and 8. 40 minus 32 is 8. Okay. So when you add sixth one, what is the marginal product? Only 2 products were added. So by adding one more worker, 42 minus 40. So this is how marginal production will be, marginal output will be helping you. What is the additional production that you have added to your total production by adding the additional worker. So when you add seventh worker, so this is reduced by 7 units. See, for 35 minus 42 is giving you minus 7. So that marginal production has been reduced to negative. So negative production it is giving. Even though if you add 8th one, minus 11 products are produced. So by looking after this marginal product and the average product, we can divide these all these workers into 3 phases. Workers and as well as the total production into 3 phases. We can take up to 3 workers. This is the phase 1. We can take it as what? A phase 1. So in phase 1, what it is happening, the output is increasing. So this phase is increasing stage. We can call it as increasing stage of output. And up to here, still the negative marginal output is reached. Up to there, we are going to take it as the second phase. So up to here, it is second phase. In this phase, output is decreasing. Output is decreasing. Okay. So when we come to the third phase, so here the output will be negative stage. Negative output you are going to get. So by identifying like this, up to where you want to increase the workers, it will be very clear to take decision. Anyone, those who are a manager, he will be looking for phase 1 only. They won't go for the phase 2 or phase 3. They don't want to go for the phase 2 itself. Why they will go for phase 3? Okay. So if you are going to increase without knowing the workers, so this type of phases you are going to face. To know that this law of variable proportions is created. Okay. So that means you must be very careful. Here tentatively we have taken certain values. Actually, if you enter into any production, you can find out the actual total production and you can calculate the average product and the marginal product, and you can make it into different 3 phases. Whether you are in first phase or second phase or third phase, you can easily identify there. Okay. So this we need to show in the graph. For every law, there will be graph also, as assumptions are there. Some one schedule we are going to show, and we are also going to draw the graph. So while drawing graph, we are going to take on x-axis and y-axis. So what you are going to show on the x-axis is number of workers. Labor you are going to increase 1 to 10, 1 to 8, no? So that you take on this x-axis. And on y-axis, what you are going to show? Total product, marginal product, and average product. Product here is output. Okay. So all the outputs, for all the total output and marginal output, average output, we are going to use the same graph. No need to go for any other graphs, separate graphs. Okay, first we are going to draw the total product graph. So the total product graph will be like this. If you plot out each and everything, you will get the shape as like this. So beginning it was increasing to some extent, and later it is starting decreasing now. So that we can see here. Okay, shall I show this schedule again? Let us see the schedule, whether this is according to that or not. See the schedule. See here. So total output is go on increasing to some extent up to 42.6 units, and later it started decreasing now. So based on this, we have shown that a downward slope of this graph is taking place. Okay, so see, it is increasing to this extent and started decreasing. So name this as what? A total product curve or TP curve అని పెట్టుకోండి short form లో. Okay, and we need to show the marginal curve. So marginal curve is flowing, it is increasing to some extent and started decreasing, and it reached negative, no? So negative means it crosses the x-axis. To enter into the negative values, this part, so it will cross the x-axis. For this, whether it is like that or not, you see the schedule. See in the schedule, marginal product, so it is gone increasing to some extent up, and then it started decreasing. See, only up to 3 units it has been increasing marginal product, and then it has started decreasing, and it reached to -7 and -11. So -11 -7 means 11 means this is after crossing the x-axis, it is entering into this minus values. So that is what we are going to show in the graph like this. So name this as the marginal product curve. Okay, and average product curve. The average product curve is flowing below this marginal curve. So you must keep in mind that marginal curve is when it is increasing, marginal curve is above the average curve. Okay. So this will flow from below here, from like this. It will touch marginal product curve and it starts decreasing. It won't touch the x-axis, okay, but it will be nearer to the x-axis. Why this is like this? Why this is like this? Let us see the values. See, when you come here, so here it is touching the x-axis marginal product. When it is 8, here touching the marginal product. Both are equal, marginal product and average product. So when both are equal, they will intersect each other. Okay. So when it is increasing, you can see compare here. When it is 5, 6, 8, which is less than 5, 7, 12. So that is the reason why the marginal curve is flowing below this. Sorry, average curve is flowing below the marginal curve. Okay. So after touching, average curve will be more than this marginal product. See here. When it is 2, it is 7. No? So after both are equalized, intersects, so it will flow above this marginal product curve. Average curve will flow above the marginal product curve. So that is what we have shown here. So if you plot out each and everything, you will get the same values. But plotting it will take more time. So simply you can draw like this. Okay, see here. This average curve is below marginal curve. And it intersecting here at a point. It's 8 annam kada, 8 at 8 it is both are equal, and it started flowing above the marginal product curve. Average product curve is flowing above the marginal product curve. So I have given here in short form AP. AP stands for average product curve. Okay, so now you have to show the 3 phases here. So how to divide here in the graph means where both are intersecting. AP and MP are intersecting. See here it is intersecting now. So up to here you draw one line. So when both are equalized. So you draw this line. So this is phase 1. Before this line, whatever the area is there, that is in phase 1. Increasing returns. And up to where, that means after this line, it is phase 2 starts. So where phase 2 ends means where the MP curve is intersecting x-axis up to here. So you draw another line. So both are intersecting. Of course, somewhat it moved this side. You draw up to here. Here. So this is the phase 2. The phase 2 starts at this point and it ends here. When it is marginal product curve is entering into the negative part. And after that, whatever it is there, that is the phase 3. That means negative returns. So this is how you are going to show the law of variable proportions. Okay. So this is what it is an production function with one variable. What is the importance of knowing this? So you can estimate what is the level of production, where the output is increasing, where the output is decreasing, where the output is negative. Everything you can find out there. And you can take a decision up to which number of workers you need to increase your output. Okay. So if you are going to find out the all these different average product and marginal product, it will be very easy for you. Average product will help you to fix the price of the product. Per unit, what is the price? What is the cost that you are going to spend on each labor? That if you convert it into cost expenditure, you can easily find out at what price you need to sell the product. Okay. So that is what it is an production function with one variable. Any doubts in understanding this? Any of you?